In this video, we are going to make some interactive animated UI buttons that make your game feel much more alive, and we're going to do all of this using built-in Unity components, so you don't have to download anything fancy or special to get started. Speaking of which, let's get started. To get started, let's create a basic UI button. Going to UI Canvas here, and selecting Button Text Mesh Pro, and it is going to ask us to import Text Mesh Pro, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. I'm also going to get the examples and extras because it has some better fonts than the default stuff. Now the default Unity button just looks so bad. We can spice it up a little bit though without adding anything extra to our project, just by using the built-in Unity default components. So let's go ahead here. I'm going to delete the text for now. We'll re-add it back later. But I'm going to right-click on the button, create a new empty game object, and call this root. Then on the anchoring tool, I'm going to click here, hold Alt and bottom, and click this bottom right option, which is going to make this the same size as the parent. And I'm going to right-click the root one more time, go to Create Empty, and call this BG. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, click Alt, left-click, and click the bottom right. And the reason we're doing it this way is because it's nice to add extra layers to our game objects, which gives us extra flexibility on the way down, especially when we're dealing with things like animations. Now, on this top level of the button, I'm actually going to just make this image completely transparent. We do need it for the button component to work, so we're going to leave it there. And then we're going to collapse the rest of this for now. I'm going to go on the BG here, go to Add Component, add a new image, and we see it's sized exactly to the same as the parent level button. However, we want to use a better sprite, and we also don't want this to accept any raycast, so I'm just going to disable raycasting because all the functionality is going to be on the root of the button, and everything below is just graphics and animations. So we're going to click this little circle icon, and we're going to type in here 9-slice, and we're going to see nothing comes up. But if I click this eyeball icon, we're going to see that we have a few options here for 9-slice graphics. And if you still don't see anything there, chances are you're in a 3D project and you're going to have to import the package. So if you don't see 9-slice, you go to Package Manager and you make sure you have this 2D package installed here. It's one of these guys here. I think it's like 2D Sprite that has the 9-slice image, or you can just use any other image. You don't have to use this one. But the cool thing about the 9-slice is it allows us to either soften or harden the edges by changing this pixels per unit multiplier. So if I change this here, I can make it have harder edges or softer edges. I'm also just going to make the button itself bigger, and I'm going to do this on the root of the button by changing the height to, let's say, 70, and the width to 250. Yeah, that looks okay. Now let's go back on this BG, and that's way too much, so I'm going to change it to like 1.15 and give it nice, smooth, round edges. Now, I'm no good with picking colors on my own, but fortunately, I don't need to be. We can use a little bit of color theory here and go to a website I picked out, coolers.co, which gives us some nice color schemes, and these are all, I have UI tags on here, so these are all like pre-configured for UI functionality. We can pick any UI color scheme. We're just going to try to use the same one. I like this guy here, so I'm going to hover over this blue, click it, and that's going to copy that color code to my clipboard. I'm going to go ahead and make that button the blue color. I also hate this default blue background, so we're going to take this here. I'm going to get this brown color for the background, move that off to my other monitor, and I'm going to go to my main camera and just change the background color to be that brown color, which, yeah, that already instantly looks a lot better. Okay, now the button itself, I'm going to duplicate the background, and we're going to make an outline. So I'm going to duplicate, rename this one to BG, and I'm going to take the one on top and rename this to outline. Then I'm going to make its scaling a little bit bigger. Well, actually first, so we can see it, we're going to change its color. So again, I'm going to go to my color picker here, and I choose this nice dark color on the side and apply this to my outline. We can't see anything yet because it's the same size as the background. We're going to scale up its X. Too much, I'll just actually manually type 1.05. And on the Y, I'll make do like 1.15. And there we go, we have a nice outline for the button. You might be aware there is a built-in outline feature in Unity. You can go to Add Component and type outline, but it kind of looks horrible. See, there's like 10, -10, like, what is this? Just, no. That's why we're using our own outline. It's better. and it gives us more flexibility. So there we go. We have our outline, and we're going to add some shading to the button as well. So I'm going to duplicate the background one more time, call this highlights, and then I'm going to change its stretch mode to be hold Alt and click this bottom one. And I'm going to choose this slightly darker blue here, make this our highlight color, paste it in here, and I'm going to just change its size to be like 70 divided by 2, so half size. But I do want it to be aligned to the bottom, so change its Y pivot point to 0, and change its Y position to 0, and now it's perfectly aligned to the bottom. I also don't like that it has the folded edge here. The problem is, if we like try to change the pixel per unit multiplier, it's actually going to go over, or it's going to go under the like the shadow here. It kind of cuts it off. It doesn't look good. Sorry, over the shadow. So what, I have a little hack. I'm just going to duplicate the highlights one more time, make it a child of the parent highlights, change this to be called fill, change its source image to be a square, and then it doesn't need to be very tall, so I'm just going to change the height to like 15, and then just change its Y pivot to, actually I want it to be at the top, so I'm going to make it 1, and there we go. I'm going to Alt click the top one, and now it's like positioned to the top of the highlights here, and it just makes it smooth and flush, and we have like half and half. So there we go. We have our button. It looks a little better. Oh, and one more thing, we're going to add a shadow. There is a built-in shadow component. We could also just duplicate the thing to make a shadow, but in my opinion, this actually doesn't look too bad, so just going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to increase its X offset to 15, change its Y to -15 so it goes down, and there we go. Our button now has a cool shadow to it. Okay, the button is set up graphically. Oh, except for one more thing, we need to add our UI text mesh pro. We're going to just say, call this button text, and we'll say start game. There is no game, but we're going to start the game. And of course, obviously, we should position this button text correctly because we're using layering, so it should go at the very bottom here. And we're going to position this to be in the very center, and also change its positioning here to be center center, and then just change it to one of these other ones here. There, I kind of like bangers. That looks cool. There is one other cool thing here that we can do. We could change its vertex color to give it a color gradient. I like a nice vertical gradient. And again, here we could use some color theory. Maybe scale this text up a little bit. I'm gonna trust the color theory that this yellow is gonna work for the text. I really don't know. Let's see. Yeah, actually, that color theory wins. That looks not bad at all. But I do. We don't want to actually apply it to the vertex color. What we want to do is apply it to the gradient color. So gradient, and we don't have another darker yellow as part of this. That's okay. I'm just going to manually select a slightly darker yellow and give it like a very slight gradient look. That looks okay. All right. Now let's actually start animating the button, which is, the title of this video. So let's go onto the button component itself, and over here where it says color tint, we're going to change this to animation, and then we're going to click auto generate animation. And it's going to ask us where we should save it. I already created a folder here called animations, so I'm just going to put it inside. When I was prototyping, I might have already created this, but I'm just going to overwrite it, and we're going to do it again. I'm going to save animator in here. It's called button, and it's by default attached to our button. Let's now, the default auto generate has created nice animation states for us for all the button states. We don't need to deal with the animator tab, but we are going to look at the animation tab. For normal, that's just the button's normal state. When we're not interacting with it, we're going to leave it alone, but we're going to change all these other ones. So like on highlights, for instance, we are going to hit record. I'm going to fast forward to 1 second, click the uniform scaling on the button. And actually, I'm going to make changes to the root, not the button itself, but I'm going to make changes on the root. And I'm going to change the root's scaling here to 1.05 at the 1 second mark, and then scale it back down to 1 at the 2 second mark. And that's going to give us like this little pulse effect that's going to appear when we're hovering over it. Oh, looks kind of cool. Pressed is our next state. This is the state, the button when we click with the mouse, and it leaves the press state when we mouse up. So it's meant to be like a very intermediate in-between state. So what we want to do here is kind of make it look like the button's being pushed down. So on this one, I'm going to change and we're only going to change the animations at the 0 second mark here, because this is not going to be a repeating animation. I'm just going to change its scale to 0.95 to make it look a little smaller. And then we're going to adjust some of the colors on here. I'm going to go to the background color, give it a slightly darker blue look. Go to the highlights and the highlight fill, select them both and make that also a slightly darker blue. And even on the button text, this is again the cooler thing. This is the cool thing here. We can, change the look of our buttons as well. So I can like make even the yellow text look like it's being pushed in and make it darker. I don't know. Again, I'm making up my own colors now, which is not great, but that's fine. This is just a little tutorial here. Then we are going to go to selected, and selected is going to be the state of the button. It may be pressed, it may not be pressed, but it's like if you are using a controller, for instance, and you're pressing up and down, and that is now the selected button. Doesn't mean it's pressed. But when you press it, it is going to jump automatically into the selected state. So we want this selected state to look very different, in my opinion. So in this case, I'm going to record at keyframe 0. I'm going to hit record. I'm going to just disable the outline completely. I'm going to change its alpha value to 0. And actually, I'm going to go to the root. And I'm going to change the root's scaling to 1.05, which is the same as like our hovered in state. And I think that shadow is like way too out now, so I'm going to go on the background, and I'm just gonna like change that shadow to be like 5 and -5. Maybe that's too little. 7 and -7. There we go. And did I change the wrong component? The scaling on the I might have changed the scaling on the wrong one. No, I did that on the root. For pressed, selected, it is the root. Oh, and one more thing on selected, we should also adjust the text color again. So I'm going to go to the button text and change this text color over here one more time. Maybe like just make it more orange in this case. I'm not going to change the other positioning of it. Just I feel like a more orangey text instead. We're just trying things, seeing if it works and seeing if we're happy with it. And I'm also, see, I forgot to hit record. Need to make sure we're in the right state on the button and and that we are recording, or else all of these changes are null and void. So there we go. Make sure we're on the selected state and change the colors over here. And I also want to make the button darker here on the selected state. So again, we're just gonna shimmy down the blues. Okay, and let's save and test that out. So here's our button. It's normal. We hover over it. It does this pulse. Move the mouse off. It stops pulsing. I click on it, and it goes into the selected state, changing the colors of everything on it. Here's my press state. Yeah, so it's really cool. If we really want to see it side by side, I can duplicate the button. Just move this other one down so we can compare and see like how a press button looks compared to a not press button, or selected button looks compared to a not selected button. I guess the other one should probably say options on it, not start game, because that doesn't make sense. But this is like, yeah, it's very clear that this is now the selected state. Yeah, so you could fiddle around with this for a really long time still. There's a lot you could do with it. You can even make prefab buttons and then just change the colors on it in your animations to have like really consistent looks for your buttons throughout the game. But again, this is all just built-in Unity stuff we did this with. There was nothing special or fancy going on here. So it's really cool to see how you can add a few small things and make your game come to life that much more with the UI. Thanks for watching.